If you're moving your comb forward towards the base, that's diagonal forward. If you're moving it from hairline or top or front towards the back of the head, that's diagonal back. So I hope that helps out a little bit. Again, we are moving this, kind of pivoting this, so we've got diagonal forward, working in this manner towards the front of the head. And again, keeping your razor sort of in a flat motion on the hair. Coming right to the front section. And as you get closer to the front hairline, this section really becomes more of a stationary guide. So it was a little bit of a traveling guide at first, and now it's more of a stationary guideline. Okay, so you can see that length really starting to happen in the front there. Okay. And that is the basic gist of the wet portion of our Camia haircut. We're going to take this down, and that disconnection is just going to be part of her beautiful character and texture that this haircut has. Now, she was quite long to begin with, so she's got quite a bit of extra length here, but I kind of like that. I think it's kind of fun. So you can decide how much of that disconnection you really want to have. I think actually I might trim her a little bit. Just a little. We want her to be pretty disconnected. I think it's really a nice touch to this haircut. However, you know, you want it to be manageable and look like it's intentional and part of the haircut. Okay, so from here, I'm going to do just a quick flat wrap on her, and then we're going to do a little bit of dry cutting to finish and refine. So when you're flat wrapping, you really want to use the contour of the head to really create that shape, particularly in the front hairline. Especially on my mannequin, you're going to see me come really close to that front hairline, and that's because it really pops out a lot. So anywhere there's a cowlick or anything like that, we want her to be very nice and flat and smooth, much like my pre-done mannequin here. We really want it to hug the head and show off that beautiful shape. So when I flat wrap, my nozzle sits on the head, not this way, so I don't burn her, but moving always in this direction, like trucking trailer, really following my 413 sculpting brush, and right around the hairline, getting that nice and tight right around the hairline. And moving back and forward, this is going to dry both sides of the hair, but really keeping that nice and smooth. You want her to look polished. This is definitely too short of a length to use your flat iron, unless you have a mini. So you definitely want to use that shape of the head to create that smoothness that you would get from a hot tool. And with our beautiful Express Ion tools and our Neuro tools from Paul Mitchell, we can really get a beautiful style and shape from this, and a really nice smooth and polished look guide. Our Neuro tools have the Smart Sense technology. They allow us to work smarter and have intelligent design. They have the Smart Sense microchip inside, and that allows you to check the temperature of your iron 50 times per second. Among other great features that it has, I just love how this really makes a huge difference in my blow dry. Okay, and then even with our longer legs in the front, making sure I'm bringing this across the forehead. She's got some really powerful direction in the front of her head, so I really want to smooth that down, working in that flat wrap motion. And then of course with these longer lengths, you can definitely leap to the side. So I'm going to just put my sculpting brush off to the side. And this is going to create a very smooth polish off to her right side of her hair. Again, a great way to start that smooth finish before you flat iron. or before you curl. So it really sets you up to win here. Just making sure you dry both sides of the hair, especially those longer lengths in the front. And then finishing her off to the right side of her head. Okay. So now that she is dry, you can see that she's got this beautiful length in the front. I left her a little longer than my pre-done, so just so you could see how much disconnection you could really get. Of course, you know, it's always better to leave a little more because you can always take more off. So you can tell your client, ooh, I really like that, but if they're thinking it's a little too much, you can certainly take more. So coming in here, I'm going to take my shears now, and I'm going to refine around these edges of her hairline. So coming in on the short sides, like I said, Takashi likes to do a lot of dry cutting and definitely a lot of texture. So he uses a lot of different stroking mechanisms or techniques, and he uses some slide cutting, some point cutting, some scissor over comb. So it really helps you get familiar with all these different techniques that we have at our fingertips to add texture and refinement. So coming right in here, around this hairline, I can see that she's a little bit longer than I might like. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to do this so you can see. I'm going to come in and I'm going to do just a little bit of bounce off of my fingertips. So how you do this is your scissors are going to open when they touch and close on the way out. Open, close, open, close. This is going to prevent you from cutting yourself, and it's going to give some really nice texture. It's sort of a way to point cut in reverse. All right, and then if you have, she's a little bit longer, but if you have someone who you're going really short around that hairline, you can certainly come in here and do a little point cutting. So I like to do this right around their hairline, guys and girls. It just kind of cleans up that line, and you can really get that where you want it, and particularly on the dry hair. I try not to do this on wet hair. I just am never sure how it's going to quite lay once it's dry. And then, of course, if you feel like it's a little bit thick, my mannequin's a little thick around the hairline, you can always do your scissor over comb point cutting and come in here and lighten that up just a little bit. Okay. And so same thing coming in around the back hairline and around the ear. You definitely want to come in and just refine that shape. And then right up over the ear is not a bad idea to kind of lift this with your comb and do a little more point cutting in here too. This helps to blend your sides together as well. You could really go through the whole haircut and do this if you wanted to, if you felt the need. But I like the way that's shaping up. You really don't want to cut new lines either. So when you're texturizing around those hairlines, make sure that you are not cutting into your beautiful lines that you just cut, that you're just refining them a little bit. Okay, so I'm moving all this front hair off and away from her face. Okay. So coming in through here, I can use the same technique on this side. I'm going to clip this out of my way just so I don't cut into my longer lengths. Come in here and bounce. Just do that little bit of stroking in there. So you'll notice my hand position and my body position change a little bit on this front section because I'm now on the right side of the head. I'm coming from top to bottom instead of bottom to top. Either way, it takes a little bit to get comfy and used to that, but you can definitely do it. Okay. And then coming in around the ear, again on this right side of the head. You can come in and just refine some of this hairline. I just love how Takashi really likes to utilize all of his different techniques just in one haircut to really tailor to each client, basically, and each hair type. If you're someone who uses the same cutting techniques and texturizing techniques all the time, I would really invite you to try some of these different texturizing techniques and refining techniques to really up your game, kind of get you outside your box a little bit. So particularly with a female cut, these are really good techniques to have on hand because you want this to look more feminine. Again, you don't want it to be boxy. So in the back here, I can see a little bit of weight. I'm just going to come in and do a little slide cutting in here, just where I feel like I see that weight. I don't typically get a lot of weight when I'm razoring, but if you're not used to razoring and perhaps you left a little more length in some areas than you might have wanted, then this is a great way to come in. So you're kind of coming from top to bottom and just slowly opening and closing your shears just to get that in and refine it. And then again, you can always come in and do a little more point cutting. I like to use the wide teeth on my comb for this part. Oh, that looks much better. That way I can easily flow through the hair as I point cut. All right, great. Now onto this top section, I'm actually going to pull it the opposite way that I'm styling it. And this top part can get a little bit heavy as well. So coming in and point cutting this as well. Taking off a little bit of that weight from the top. Again, with your point cutting, you want to open on the way in, close on the way out. Open, close, open, close, open, close. That'll prevent you, again, from cutting yourself. I've never actually cut myself when point cutting. Someone showed me to open and close that way, and thank goodness, I have never done it since. Or I've always done it that way, so I've never cut myself since then. All right. So this is that long piece of that disconnection you can really see in this particular haircut. Okay. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to refine around her face a little bit. Again, a little more slide cutting. Just to refine that line a little bit. And a good way to not cut your client as well is you really keep that bottom of your scissors on their skin, not pointing in or turning to the side. You can really be safe along their skin if you don't do that. Okay. So there she is. You can see that length, a little bit longer there, much like our shorter cut. Very pretty. And that's our Camia haircut. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that really inspired you to get out your razor and check out some fun techniques to texturize, to thin a little bit, and just to create a lot of liquid motion in your haircuts. So thanks so much for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.